The publisher of Roald Dahl's children's books has hired sensitivity readers to go through them and censor offensive language in classics such as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and James and the Giant Peach, or James and the Stunning and Brave Body Positive Peach that's healthy at any size, as it'll have to be known from now on. They're not just taking out the odd egregious word that could alienate young readers, they've made hundreds of changes, completely rewriting the books in case it triggers children. Man, children love Roald Dahl's grotesque brilliance. Children don't get triggered by it because children haven't been indoctrinated and become prudish crybabies yet, like these sensitivity readers have. And the sheer ego of these priggish Puritans who think that they can improve Roald Dahl's writing? What's next? Are they going to take felt tips and draw on the Mona Lisa? Are they going to install a sunroof in the Sistine Chapel? Carve a vagina into Michelangelo's statue of David? What if they go for other authors? If you took anything offensive from Charles Bukowski's books, they wouldn't exist. Here are some of the changes. See if you can spot the difference. The line, "You can't go around pulling the hair of every lady you meet, even if she is wearing gloves. Just you try it and see what happens." That becomes, "Besides, there are plenty of other reasons why women might wear wigs, and there is certainly nothing wrong with that." It's just so clunky. The changes have no respect for the inventive, alliterative musicality of Dahl's writing. So "Frumptious freaks" becomes "beastly twits." "I don't give a tinker's toot" becomes "I don't give a flip." And "We've made Grandma feel as frisky as a ferret" becomes "We've given Grandma a new lease of life." They've removed the magical rhythm of the writing and made it as leaden and lumpy as a local authority planning application. Many of the changes are to make sure that nothing could be seen as racist or ableist or fatphobic or whatever. So the phrase "going as white as a sheet" has been replaced with "looking terrified," in case it's somehow seen as racist against bed linen, presumably. The earthworm in James and the Giant Peach no longer has lovely pink skin, but lovely smooth skin, to quash the dangerous idea that pink skin can be lovely. Even a description of tractors as black has been removed from Fantastic Mr. Fox. Machines aren't allowed colour either, even though this has nothing to do with race. Laughing like mad becomes laughing wildly, in case neurodiverse people get offended. The line, "He needs to go on a diet," has been removed, and Augustus Gloop is no longer fat, he's described as enormous, in case children get dangerous, unhealthy ideas such as moderating their chocolate consumption. In Matilda, the line, "Your daughter Vanessa, judging by what she's learnt this term, has no hearing organs at all," has been changed to, "Judging by what your daughter Vanessa has learnt this term, this fact alone is more interesting than anything I have taught in the classroom." I can't even tell what the replacement is supposed to mean. It's like reading a manual that's been poorly translated from Chinese. The censors also don't miss a chance to push gender ideology on every page. So the phrase "ladies and gentlemen" becomes "folks," because it would alienate non-binary people like Sam Smith to have "ladies and gentlemen." The line "plenty of families with a husband, a wife and several children" becomes "plenty of families," because the concept of the family must be destroyed for communism to triumph. The censors are also at pains to make sure that women are girl bossing all the way through the books. The line, "even if she is working as a cashier in a supermarket or typing letters for a businessman" becomes "even if she is working as a top scientist or running a business." I mean, they couldn't lay this stuff on any thicker. The line, "she went on olden day sailing ships with Joseph Conrad, she went to Africa with Ernest Hemingway, and to India with Rudyard Kipling" becomes "she went to 19th century estates with Jane Austen, she went to Africa with Ernest Hemingway, and California with John Steinbeck." I mean, why did they even need to change Rudyard Kipling to John Steinbeck? I don't understand what they're even trying to push there. Gender is sometimes removed, so cloud men becomes cloud people, but gender is also switched sometimes so that positive attributes go to women and negative attributes go to men. So the line "well thrown sir" becomes "well thrown miss," because women are of course famously good at throwing. And "eight nutty little idiots" somehow gets turned into "eight nutty little boys." So a genderless phrase is changed to one that discriminates against boys. This is interesting. George's Marvellous Medicine is basically about a meth lab. There's no way it can be safe for kids. You're telling kids that if they mix all the chemicals under the sink, they can create magic. I don't think misgendering matters when your kid is dissolving dishwasher tablets in bleach and drinking them because they think it'll give them magical powers. But the gender woo-woo nonsense is just bringing Roald Dahl's books into line with most contemporary children books, which seem to be about indoctrinating children into the TQQIP2SAA++ cult, confusing them about about their gender or teaching them that they're bad because they're white. The publishers have crossed a red line with this. We're used to seeing new versions of classic films being given the diversity treatment, but they don't go back and edit the original films. They just create new versions that nobody watches because they're rubbish. With this editing of Roald Dahl's books, they're changing the Roald Dahl's books that are available in the shops. This is Stalinist revisionism of shared cultural totems. It's like something from Orwell's 1984, at least until the publisher edits it out of 1984. The only place you'll be able to find the original books as Roald Dahl wrote them is from underground book dealers who'll sell you the good stuff for cash, no questions asked. The same thing happened with literature in the Soviet Union. You can't mess with art like this. If Roald Dahl was alive, do you think he'd let it happen? And wokists are quick to point out that Dahl had some personal opinions that are pretty dodgy by today's standards, but he was born in 1916. He's not going to have the same opinions as a blue-haired diversity trainer who was born in 1997 and whose opinions will be obsolete next week anyway because the correct opinions change all the time. If Roald Dahl had called the Oompa Loompas valued BAME teammates, he'd be in trouble now for not calling them BIPOC. And if he had called them BIPOC, he'd be in trouble next week when BIPOC becomes an obsolete racist term and they have to think up a new, more confusing name and we all have to learn that. Actually, I've just realised that BIPOC has been replaced with global majority. I'm not sure how long until it changes again. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, please share it with your mates before sensitivity readers rewrite it. And if you'd like to support me making these videos, you can become a Patreon. From as little as £3 a month, you get exclusive content, including Patreon-only episodes of Clown World and a Patreon-only podcast with a criminal barrister. Thanks for listening. I'm Billy Okierski. Bye. Bye-bye.